and that's why I don't think they should be able to vote. Hey, well, no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead and start it.
I like that start. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to RVL Weekly. I'm Sarah Keller. Pat Barker is not here today. He's in Florida cleaning up toxic algae.
Oh, I thought it was in Japan.
No, I don't actually know where he is.
Where is
I think
Japan?
he's in New York.
Is he in New York? I thought it was in. I know he's going to Japan at some point.
Yeah, we're going in end of May, beginning of June. Yeah.
Sick.
No, I just wanted to say he was cleaning up toxic algae. Make him seem like a good person.
No, Pat. Pat's a great guy.
Filling in for Pat is the incredible champ, Frank Castillo.
Yeah, Frank Castillo's here, ready to go, ready to watch some videos and talk roast battle.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Our number 5 battle comes out of New York. It features a battler that we've seen here already this season, James Pontillo versus Daniel J. Paraffin. It's because it's New York. It's a 3-round battle. We're only going to show the 3rd round because sometimes those get long.
Yeah.
So this is just the 3rd round of James Pontillo versus Daniel J. Paraffin. Let's check it out.
All right, we gotta make this quick. At midnight, James turns into a sex offender.
Daniel has OCD. Oh, sorry, I mean Daniel has obesity. He's very fat.
James is Italian, has been accused of stealing material, and has raped women. He's a modern-day Christopher Columbus.
Keep it going for Louis C.K. So, this is a huge night for Daniel. This is the most people Daniel's performed for that wasn't yelling jump.
And this is the most women you've been in front of that you weren't masturbating for.
Okay.
Thank you, Jared from Subway, if he was never caught.
Here's another pedophile joke. Daniel's like a piñata. He's filled with candy and can always be seen at children's birthdays.
If you've never spoken to James, you must not be white. Wait. Damn it, you know what I meant. He's racist, look at him. He's fucking Italian, you know what they are.
Yelling the jokes doesn't make them any funnier.
You would be surprised, am I right?
All right, calm down. Daniel's bisexual. He's so fat and gay, he's part of the LGBTQ community.
You're just jealous I have a mother to go home to. Thank you, Michael Chote-Leone. Holy shit, if that joke was any darker, you'd call the cops on it.
Daniel's religious. Daniel goes to mass every Sunday. Oh, sorry. I mean, Daniel gains a lot of mass from eating Sundays.
Give it up for Dave Hactel. And you look like you're part of a crime family. You look like you're part of a crime family whose sole purpose is to cover up your victims. Fuck. Damn it. Oh, fuck. Damn it.
All right.
That was good. I'm actually a big fan of both of those guys. I like James Pontillo, and I like the half bisexual Italian. How do you say his last name?
I think it's Paraffin.
Paraffin.
But
also, great last name, right? Doesn't it sound like just something you would put on a napkin and then over your victim's face? You know,
Paraffin is a kind of wax.
Is it a wax?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Now I feel uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. I just couldn't get over how he sounded exactly like Gilbert Gottfried.
So fucking funny. Yeah.
But yeah, that was really fun. James won the battle.
Absolutely, James won the battle,
which is his 2nd win this season. Mm-hmm. So that's impressive. I think that's one of the first battlers that has that.
What, two wins?
2 wins in our league so far. Not like 2 wins, but 2 wins that have been featured on the pod.
Yeah.
So we only watched the 3rd round of a 3-rounder. The first 2 were very heavily laden with pedophile jokes and rapist jokes.
Yeah, I get it.
So it got a little redundant.
Yeah. You can only call someone a rapist and a pedophile so many times.
Exactly.
Unless they're like hilarious each time.
Yes. Yes. So maybe we could talk about, like, you and I both came up doing 3-rounders, which now in LA at least have kind of gone to the wayside.
Yes.
First of all, how do you feel about the fact that we don't do them anymore?
I feel like it's good and it's bad. It's good because it does make the show go faster and it does kind of streamline things a little bit, because when there were 3 rounds, depending on who the people were, sometimes they'd go long, or like you realize all these jokes just weren't that good, and then it's just sometimes some people that write, it's better if they just have 1 round because they can write 3 or 4 jokes. But coming up through the 3-rounders, it was more beneficial to us, I think, because it made us write so much, and it made you have to like strategize and figure out how to do things differently each round. And I think that in the end, it helped just because you wrote more.
Yeah. And I think, like, for me personally, I'm someone who writes 300 jokes for each person. And, like, one of the hardest things for me is narrowing it down to 5.
Of course.
So I miss having 9, because then I just got to say more jokes.
Yeah.
And you can build a story arc. Because, like, a lot of times I'll write, like, 3 to 5 jokes even that are the same type.
Yeah.
So you can only do one of those in a 5-rounder. And sometimes I have like 2 that are like so good, and I'm like, and I miss being able to, that middle round was that like sweet spot.
Yeah, you do 30 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, the 30-second middle round. And I feel like that's where a lot of people took their time to create that story and be like, you're so fat, this is how, like, and you said how fat they were 5 times. And I do miss that.
Yeah. When it was done well, it was done very, very well. But those 3-rounders, you got to see, everyone usually started saving their best jokes for the 3rd round. And then if it was still a tie, people would go to overtime. And sometimes people would pull out overtime jokes and you would just be like, you waited to say that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I like the way things are now.
Yeah.
But I do think it just made you write more. And you were more worried because you're like, I got to write fucking 12 to 16 jokes. That's crazy.
Yeah, and you had to remember all of those.
Yeah. That was the big thing too, is like being able to remember and being able to write all those. It made you a better comedian, in my opinion, because I remember being in the finals of Roast Battle, and that was the thing, is you got to see, I think the only people that were in those finals, I think it was like me, Fifi. It was me, Fifi.
Joe.
I feel bad now. I apologize. Me, Fifi. Who else was it that did Roast Battle like consecutively in there? Anna Valenzuela. Keith Carey. Yeah. Connor. No, I meant in the finals.
Oh, like on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It was me, Anna, Fifi. Because the other people were like TV people.
Yeah, I don't
right?
remember.
So you got to see like all 3 of those comics remembered everything. So in the sense of like they could remember 16 to 20 jokes, right? And I remember Todd Barry being like, is there going to be a prompter? Like, because that was a person that's not roast battling like that all the time, then it does have to worry about remembering all those jokes.
Yeah.
Because then you could slip up. So it's like, I mean, I love Matthew, and he's great, but he only battled like, 4 or 5 times before he was on TV?
Yeah.
And it showed because he wasn't able to remember everything. Right? So it's like when you get to do 3 rounds, you have to remember all your jokes. You have to write more, and it just makes you a better comic in the end, I think.
I agree. And I think like one of the things we're seeing now with the 5 joke rounds is you're seeing a lot more 1, 2, 3 hits per joke, which is cool, but also it's hard to pull that and it can really sink you if you try to do a 2-hit and like one of them's not that good, and then people are like, why did you tag a joke that sucked?
And the thing that I did see with the gentleman who lost was he did the thank yous way too much.
Yeah.
It's like, 1 or 2's fine unless they're fucking amazing every single time, but that's such a hard thing to live up to, because that can also take you down a notch before you do your next joke.
100%. And he did a thank you after he did a comeback and then said thank you, and I was like, that's not how conversations go.
Yeah.
I don't, unless your thank you is knock it out of the park, the funniest fucking thing I've ever heard, don't do it. I'm tired of them. And if you have a really good one, don't say thank you. Think of some other way to call them.
Yeah. Literally like yes, John
Anthony
Lennon or some shit.
Or whatever.
Just be like, it doesn't have to be thank you. Just anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. just other
A
words.
different adjective.
You can do it.
I think that's the correct one.
All right. Yeah. Nope. I don't know. Fuck it.
bad with
Whatever.
grammar.
Guess what? We're not English majors.
You're like, we're just talking about writing all the time?
We're just professional writers, but not.
Well, that's what
English
editors
people.
are for. You know what I mean? That's what an English teacher told me. I remember being like, I'm terrible at grammar. And he goes, that's what editors are for. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. It's not our job to make sure it sound good. Okay. Let's move on to our number 4 battle coming out of jolly old London. Okay, you didn't react to that, and I'm glad you did it. Coming out of jolly old London. This is an incredible name. We have Hugh Peacock versus Aziz Vora. Hugh Peacock versus Aziz Vora. Let's check it out.
This is Aziz Vora. It's a beautiful name. To me, it sounds like a brand of bath bomb. Although he looks like he might suicide bomb. No, he's a very handsome guy. He's a very handsome guy. He looks like he might steal your girl or your plane.
Yeah, Hugh hates Muslims, too much fasting.
Too much terrorism.
It's rare that you actually get to see how you would end up if I didn't switch to Coke Zero. Hugh, you're my ghost of Christmas fat.
Aziz is half British and half Indian, which means he makes one hell of a boring fucking conversation about cricket.
Yeah, speaking of which, Hugh was actually on track to be a pro rugby player, but he told me that his team lost the most important match they played in because of a mistake he made, getting morbidly obese.
Before that, but Aziz lived in Japan for 7 years. He really loved it there because he didn't have to listen to any suicide bomber jokes. Over there they call it kamikaze.
Hugh's a bit of a mummy's boy. I don't mean he loves his mum. I mean he's a boy who looks like he's about to be a mum.
What does your mother look like? Aziz's girlfriend cheated on him with a member of their Dungeons and Dragons group. You gotta watch out for that. Aziz was so angry he attacked him, but unfortunately he only rolled a 4.
I know all my jokes so far have been about Hugh's weight, but in my defense, one of the 10 facts he sent to me to help write this battle was, I'm fat. The next one was, I drink too much beer. What's the third? I put too much food in my mouth. Oh no, it's actually, your parents were divorced, sorry. Jesus.
Aziz's girlfriend cheated on him with a fellow member of their Dungeons and Aziz's girlfriend cheated on him with a member of a Dungeons and Dragons group. Aziz actually felt suicidal, but he didn't want to spend any more time with 72 virgins.
So Hugh's parents are divorced. His dad actually cheated on his mum, and Hugh vowed never to be like his dad. So the only thing he cheats is his diet. Nice one, cheers.
Yeah, man, that was great. Yeah, that was good. At first, I thought Aziz was gonna win because of the way he handled all the terrorist jokes up top.
Yeah.
Where he was just like, the only reason you don't like Muslims is because we fast.
Yep.
And I thought that was great. But man, he hit that Dungeons and Dragons run, and I was like, ugh.
Which, in and of itself, might be one of the saddest things I've ever heard in a roast battle.
That's
like,
pretty fucking good.
so sad but good, like in the oh fuck, this is the greatest kind of way. Yeah, that was. He hit him with the 1-2 knockout at the end.
Well, some jokes are. I mean, we've seen that too, where it was like, some jokes are so good and outrageous that they just repeat it, and then it's just even funnier. Where that was one of those things we're talking about, where it's like you take a risk and it pays off.
Yep.
Because I was even saying when he first said that sentence, I thought to myself, he just said the setup, and I was like, that setup is so funny.
Those are my favorite kind of jokes when like the fact is so obscure or silly or whatever, or the setup is just that good that the punchline is kind of inconsequential.
Yeah.
And so it's just like it's the cherry on top because you're already like, I'm enjoying.
You're like, what is he? And then he didn't roll a 4. So funny. So do you know how to play Dungeons & Dragons?
No.
So it's basically you play Dungeons & Dragons, you role play, but like it's like this.
Aren't there like 12 sides of the dice or something?
Exactly. So it's like you're gonna attack this fucking can. You have to roll a 6 or above to make the hit, and then you roll how much damage you do. Basically, like shit like that. It's a lot of like dice stuff.
Okay.
So the fact that he rolled a 4, it's like it's just funny as fuck because it's like he didn't do.
He couldn't do anything.
Yeah, he couldn't attack. It's so.
I mean,
it's a very D&D reference.
I put it, but to his credit, even for somebody like me who's never played Dungeons & Dragons, like I could put it together through context and still enjoyed the joke.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you explained it because maybe there's somebody out there watching that like didn't get it.
Yeah, someone who fucks and isn't a nerd. Yeah.
Yeah. It that was really fun. I like both of them.
That was really good.
Hopefully we'll see more
Yeah.
of Hugh, Peacock, and oh my God, Aziz. I can't remember his last name. Hold on. It's right here. That's so embarrassing. Damn it. I should have just not said it. Hugh Peacock versus Aziz Vora.
Aziz Vora. Yeah, that's a good name.
Anyway, I'm really bad at this.
Nah, you're great.
I could prepare, but why would I do that?
No, what are you talking about?
I'm too busy fucking. You know what I mean?
I showed up high as hell today.
All right, let's move on to our number 3 battle, which is out of Toronto. It features Thomas Calnan versus Ryan Dillon. So number 3, Thomas Calnan versus Ryan Dillon.
Thought we were going to have to both go at the same time there for a second, right? All right, Ryan Dillon is known as one of the nicest guys in the stand-up comedy community. He is. In fact, when you ask another comedian what they think of Ryan Dillon's act, the first thing they'll say is, he's a really nice guy.
You prick. Tom and I have a lot in common. You know, his mom died last year. My dad died when I was a kid. That's why I'm jealous of Tom, because he got to spend so much more time disappointing his dead mother. Oh, okay, that was too mean, okay.
When I talk about a man that was born in St. John's, Newfoundland, and moved to Toronto to become a successful comedian, you would probably think of Rick Mercer. But all of that also applies to Ryan Dillon as long as you leave out the words successful and comedian.
Tom stopped doing stand-up to take care of his mother a few years ago. When his mom passed, the comedy community was heartbroken to find out that Tom would be doing stand-up again.
Ryan Dillon has lost a lot of weight in the past couple of years. You look fantastic, Ryan. Yeah?
Thank you, son.
He did it by following one simple trick. He only buys food with the money he makes from stand-up comedy.
Oh, buddy. Tom loves to drink. He loves to drink, but he's actually been cutting back a lot. He's now down to only 2 pints of cum a day.
And Ryan makes me work for them. Ryan Dillon was nominated for the Tim Sims Award, which he lost. He was also nominated for a Canadian Comedy Award, which he lost. And he was a finalist for Sirius XM's Top Comic, which he did not win. There's only so many ways I can say you lost here. At least he gets a lot of exposure, though. The last time a Canadian got this much exposure was when Pamela Anderson's sex tape came out. But at least she followed that up with a decent career.
Tom and I have done a lot of shows together. He's always asking me to tape his set, and I always tell him just to turn his body cam back on. All right, last show?
Last show, okay. I feel kind of bad. I keep making fun of how you're not funny, and then you keep getting fucking laughs. Turns out
You're still fat.
Turns out all you needed was me on stage with you. Ryan is engaged to a beautiful young woman whose only flaw is her low standard in boyfriends. But I'm sure that in 10 years, she'll be able to look back at her first marriage and laugh, possibly for the first time since she met Ryan.
Nice. Tom, that's great. Tom loves the game chess. Tom loves to play chess. It's his favorite game. And I've never seen him play, but you just know by looking at him that he loves helping the whites beat the blacks.
That was an aggressively Caucasian battle.
I love it, dude. Listen, dog. I like watching white people read. It's a lot of fun. Usually I hate it when people have notes or their phone, but I don't know. They had note cards and it seemed more like official. I don't know why. I was just kind of like, I dig it. I don't know why I fell in love with Tom. He's so...
Yeah, this is going to sound like an insult, but I actually mean it in the best way possible. He reminds me of like a cruise ship roast battler.
No, 100%. He reminds me of like a game show host.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was like you watch it and I don't know if it's like how he is or if it's a character, but that is almost its own style of roasting, which was so funny because I was watching, I was like, oh, that's actually really funny. And then the way he had a lot of good jokes. He had a lot of funny asides, and it seemed like he was very, very prepared. Few jokes were just a little long, but there was a few things where it was just kind of like it almost like added to the style.
Yeah, like the one Tom had in the middle that definitely dragged on, and it didn't end well either. It didn't work, but it almost. But I was still on board. It almost did.
Yeah,
I was on board.
I was like, I'm on board for this whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like he just had something about him that you were like, I'll watch you tell me a story.
Yeah, I don't know. He looked like old and young at the same time.
Yeah.
It was so crazy.
Yeah. That body cam joke was chef's
really,
kiss.
really good. Yeah, it was really
good. Ryan, they both had such good jokes. And like Tom's, I thought it was interesting because Tom's like off the side remarks, like seemed a little out of character from his like
his
roasting,
thing.
but I liked it.
Yeah.
Anyway, both just
I love it. Ryan did great
battlers.
too. I love it.
Yeah, great.
But I think Tom. Yeah, I love Tom a lot.
Tom's bottom.
Yeah, Tom's cool, man.
I think Tom. I think Frank wants you to call him and maybe read
No.
a bedtime story.
We're definitely gonna be hanging out, Tom. Yeah. Next time I see him, I'll be like, yo, what's up? You're gonna, I'm sure he's got like a house and like kids and shit, and like a mortgage.
Has a fence.
Yeah. He's got like a nice patio.
He's a fence guy.
He's a fence guy
for sure. All right, we're on to our number 2 battle. We're fucking cruising. I love this. It comes out of Barcelona. Pat did that last week, and I wanted to punch him.
What, Barcelona?
Barcelona, yeah.
Or is it? Or how is it supposed to be said? Like that? Or Barcelona.
I don't know.
I just went there, by the way. So.
Because it depends on if Barcelona speaks Castilian Spanish or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You mean Catalan?
Whatever.
Yeah, there's the Catalan people.
But Castilian Spanish is like the dialogue.
The dialogue? You mean the dialect?
Dialect, sorry.
I think so. That was the weird thing, too, was walking around and they were like, Castillo? And it was like, they're like someone else pronounced it like Castillo or Castellan, like that, because it's very close.
Yeah.
And apparently Castillo was a big, like, Spanish family.
That makes sense. Seems familiar.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this comes out of Barcelona.
Hey.
It's part of the Barcelona versus London event that they had there.
Oh, yeah. I think I was judging.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
Well, then you've seen this one before.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's Lee Hudson, who's from London.
Yep.
And
I love Lee.
Seen him a couple of times. He's come to LA a couple of times. Versus James Regal, who actually runs the Barcelona show.
Yes.
So we have James Regal versus Lee Hudson. Let's check it out.
Battle! Let's roast! All right, so this is Lee Hudson. Lee started doing stand-up around the time of the Brexit referendum. Like Brexit, it was a massive disappointment to Britain, and only cunts and racists like him. Unlike Brexit, no one in Europe finds him funny.
This is James Regal. Regal means royal, and much like the royal family, James's comedy is outdated and shouldn't exist.
Yeah, my name does mean royal. You look like Prince William ate Prince Harry, so... he does, right? Lee had an operation a little while back on an enlarged testicle. As you can see, they attached it to the top of his neck, gave it glasses and a little hat.
And you've just got a goatee. When James gets homesick, he likes to think of the BBC. And when James's wife left him and ran away to the Caribbean, she was also thinking of the BBC.
Yeah. They all have really flat butts in the Caribbean, guys. That's what I've heard. That's a callback. Lee works in finance. I don't think he's very good at his job because he's already lost the fight against inflation. Lee likes his spreadsheets like he likes his clothing, in Excel. That one was
actually double XL. James is from a Jewish family, but doesn't consider himself religious, but he honours his ancestors by having the physique of someone from a concentration camp.
Holy shit.
Mazel.
Yeah, I guess I should have expected the anti-Semitic jokes from a guy who looks like he just wrote a manifesto in his mum's basement. But there we go. So, Lee has a football podcast, because of course he does. His other two favourite pastimes are playing poker and eating fast food. So he's always after your chips. And whether he's in the casino or having a particularly difficult shit after a KFC, it's very rare for him to get a good flush. Fuck you, I like that one.
James is straight, but he's also done a lot of gay stuff. Sorry, a quicker way of saying that would be James went to private school.
Last joke.
And we owned kids like you. Lee's dad is fucking a much, much younger woman. And go Lee's dad.
It might be your ex-wife.
He's fucking a much younger woman, and they've actually got a 1-year-old son together. So congratulations, Lee, on having a stepmom who's young enough to be your sister, and a brother who's young enough to be your boyfriend.
James has health anxiety, which means he's in constant fear of illness and disease, and so would you be if you knew how many men he shared his ex-wife with.
All right. That to me felt like they were playing darts, and they kept throwing it like perfectly straight, but then somehow it would just veer off and not hit the bullseye every time.
Yeah. So that was something I noticed about those audiences. They're not obviously American. So it's like when we have all of these, it's like it's just a little different style. Whereas like you look at like Toronto and they kind of have the similar style of like the West Coast. They kind of have this style, and I was talking to someone else about it, where they're like, it's not like London where they have the monologues, right?
Yeah.
There it kind of seems like they're still figuring out their style, so they're just throwing stuff at the wall until it hits. And there was kind of something raw and very like interesting to watch, because it's like, oh, this isn't how we do it. You guys are all, I'm watching you guys learn how to walk. And
Yeah.
this is kind of cool, and I really dig it. Like, their battles over there, it was so funny because it was such a mixed crowd. It wasn't like just Americans or just people from Toronto or just people from Chicago. It was like people from like Germany, people from Europe, people from Spain, people like, it was so eclectic. And that's why I was saying, like, those roast jokes, especially when you have someone from London and someone from Barcelona, it's like you almost have to be worldly to get all of these references. I was like, you almost have to like be at a higher level where it was like, oh, this whole audience is like cultured and intelligent. Like, yeah. And they also still have morality because there were certain things they wouldn't laugh at. But like, that was the thing they were telling me about the Barcelona is when they were first doing the roast battle, people were like, what is this? Because they were just like, these people are just mean. It's like, no, that's the whole point of the show.
Yeah.
So now the audience is a lot more understanding.
They're starting to get it.
And I dug both those guys. They were I was surprised, and I really dug and liked what they were doing.
That's very interesting feedback, especially because like I'm guessing by their accents that Lee and I know Lee is from London, but I'm guessing James is also.
No, James is from. He lives in Barcelona. I can't remember where he's from originally. There are some Americans.
He doesn't sound British?
No, there are. He might be. I can't remember what he is. But there's also people from America that just live in Barcelona who represent Barcelona when they battle.
No, totally. I just more was like, it's interesting that the
he
style.
Might be from London and then just does stand up in Barcelona.
Right, and like the style is so different from like the London scene.
Yeah.
Which it makes sense because he didn't come up in that.
Yeah.
And to comment on what you were saying about how like the audiences are cultured, and I've definitely noticed that with the Tokyo, but even like the Canada battles, they'll reference like historical facts, and I'm like, I went to college and I can't tell jokes about that.
Toronto's got a lot of jokes about fucking dead indigenous kids.
Shit. Like, you're like, what? I didn't even.
People talking about Brexit. You're like, I got to read the paper. This is crazy.
What? I have to learn knowledge stuff. Oh crap.
But that's also doing stand up in those audiences made me have to be different. Yeah, learn good, and also like approach my stand up differently because it was like, I have that mass shooting joke, and that doesn't happen in other places.
Right.
So I had to like figure out how to change it and figure out how to do it because otherwise it sounds like I'm just making fun of mass shootings in America. You know what I mean? Right. So, but yeah, it was definitely fun to adjust and figure out.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting challenge for any American battler.
Yeah.
Because even like, especially like the more seasoned ones, like that, came up with you and I wonder how they.
Those motherfuckers ain't in Japan.
You know what I mean?
Those motherfuckers ain't in Toronto. No, I'm just kidding.
But for real, like I wonder how they would do, even though they're heralded as like some of the best roast joke writers of all time. Like it would be an interesting thing because as you're saying, like it might hit too hard for the audience,
or it might shake you when you're doing it and you're like, the audience isn't fucking with you. You know what I mean? Because the first night I did stand up there, I was convinced I was going to bomb the rest of the week.
Yeah.
Because I was just.
And I've heard that about. Doing stand-up over there.
It's tough. It's different.
Wow.
I think as a comic and as a roaster, put yourself in as many uncomfortable, out-of-place situations as you can because that's only going to make you better and it's going to make you a different comic.
100%.
Not that I'm saying that the comics that only perform in front of Americans are bad or anything, but it's just like you get used to your home.
100%.
Right.
Yeah. I did that tour in India and
you did India?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You're
like
3 different countries, 5 cities.
You're like, I'm married to like 5 dudes. I've got so many houses up there. It's crazy.
It was incredible.
And did anyone was like, they were like, be my wife?
No, but I did. I've never felt more like Beyonce in my entire life.
Of course.
Like I couldn't go anywhere without being stared at by every single person.
Were you the only white lady?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, so they were just like, oh my god.
And I'm aggressively white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue eyes and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense.
Hell yeah. I love it.
All right, we're ready for a number 1 battle. This one comes out of the Bay Area.
My hometown.
Woo!
Area.
I always think you're from Temecula. But
everyone thinks I'm from Temecula. I only lived there for like 2 or 3 years.
Okay, I forget you're from the Bay Area.
Yeah. I claim the Bay Area because Temecula does not claim me. They claim Taylor Tomlinson. So yeah, she's from there.
Okay. Well, can't more than one person be from somewhere?
Not in Temecula. They're choosing one person. It is not a brown guy.
I feel like I'd rather be from the Bay Area than
Temecula. Of course. Kidding me? Bay Area is fun as fuck. Temecula's fucking it's weird.
Well, our number one battle comes out of the Bay Area. It was at Cobb's Comedy Club. So there was 250 people in the audience, which is awesome.
Dude, those roast battles up there sell the fuck out. It's crazy.
I want to go.
Dude, you gotta go. It's so much fun.
That's incredible. Seems like it would feel like the old days in the belly room.
And it's also fun to see. We watch these videos here and stuff, but when you actually go to someone else and you're like, whoa, this is a thing that we did in the belly room.
Yeah.
And now it's fucking here and it's sold out. There's young comics that are excited to be here.
Yeah, that is.
And it also blows my mind when I go to these roast battle events and they're just like, oh my God, it's so cool to meet you. And I'm like, I feel like a nobody.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I have to like remind myself. I mean, I'm more of a nobody than you.
Yeah.
But like, I have to remind myself, like, because I'm really shy.
Oh, yeah.
And awkward. And I'm like, hey, if you don't talk to this person, they're going to, like, if they say hi to you and you're scared of them, they're going to think it's
you're just
them.
an asshole. Yeah.
And, like, it's not. I'm going to say this to everybody. I'm afraid. Like, I have social anxiety, like, crippling. So if you talk to me and I'm awkward or not conversational, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with I'm terrified of you.
Hilarious.
But, like, I'm trying to tell myself, like, it's okay, you know?
I also, and it's tough because, like, when I do travel and I always get stoned and hang out, I do try to make a point to hang out with the roast battlers and try to, like, have fun and leave a good impression. Because it's also, like, that's, people are going to tell stories about when Frank visited or when Pat visited or when, these people visited, and you want to be cool, man. You want to, like, not be like the shitty headliners that you knew before. You know what I mean? You want them to be like, oh, this was a fun fucking thing.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm in therapy.
Oh, perfect. That's good.
A lot. Like, so much therapy.
Oh, jeez. It helps.
Yeah.
My wife does good rates. You ever want to hit her up?
I don't. That's too close to home. All right. Our number one battle comes out of the Bay Area at Cobb's Comedy Club. It features Okay, hold on. Let me try this again. Tanju Ja, I think. Hopefully I'm saying this right. Tanju Ja versus Trevor Dillon.
Okay, let me get a chance.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Right there. Tanju. Yeah, I did a really good job.
It might be Tanju Ha.
Look
Might
at
have to clip that.
I was like, are you allowed to do that? I
clip it, and I might be wrong.
All right. Tanju versus Trevor Dillon. Let's check it out.
All right, Bay Area, what is up? Trevor is gay. Trevor is gay and Jewish. And even in these times of homophobia and anti-Semitism, his biggest fear is carbs. But he's Jewish, so he's like really educated and successful. He has a MBA, a BMW, and a HIV.
I was trying to figure out how to describe Tanju, and I figured out, like, his interests scream PlayStation, but his face screams gas station.
Thank you, Schindler's Dick. Trevor here is actually black. He's just covered in cum.
Listen, better that than your mom's yeast. Alright. Tanju never did drugs growing up. You know, the only really thing he was addicted to is his sister's pussy.
Thank you, here comes the cum. The first time I saw Trevor, he was up on stage doing jokes. Then he stepped down and started kissing a guy. I was so disgusted at his comedy. I was happy that a guy had his tongue in his mouth so that he can stop telling those jokes.
And speaking of comedy, Deep Tanju's a Middle Eastern comedian, which means that when he bombs, the FBI gets called.
So unique. Trevor, you cum guzzling whore. When I look at you, I wonder why NASA is looking for life on Mars when all the life is in your ass.
You're better than the curry shoved up yours. Alright, Deep Tanju's from New Delhi, which is also the name of the restaurant after he killed all the Jews inside.
Come on, bro. Look, let's go. Let's go.
I am a fan of Deep Tanju.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That was insane. That is also, so he's a perfect example about how your accent can fucking elevate your game, especially if you know how to fucking use it. And he was one of those guys where it's like he waited, he would say things and he knew it was funny and he would wait and let the audience just digest. You can even hear audience members be like, what the fuck is going on? Because they just, and everything he said was just so goddamn funny. The joke about the guy kissing, what's his name? Not having told, he's not white, he's black, he's all calm on his, it was so good. And then the guy he was against was fucking amazing too.
Trevor was
incredible. Had phenomenal jokes.
But yeah, Deep Tanju was on a different level.
He was riding that wave. I'd love to see him keep battling, but yeah, that was a great battle. That was one of my favorites. And Deep Tanju's, I love him.
Yeah.
I think I found a new dude I really like.
Yeah, he is.
Sorry, Tom. No.
What if they both went against each other?
I'd love to see that too.
Yeah, that'd be incredible. Yeah, Deep Tanju really mastered his pacing.
Yeah.
Like, truly was so patient with it, but not too much so, like the exact perfect amount. And it drives me fucking crazy when people don't move the mic stand or use it. Because it always is distracting.
Yeah.
With him, it was like an extension. I wouldn't have wanted him to lose the mic
I didn't
stand.
even realize he was using the mic stand.
Oh yeah, and he was so still the entire time, and like it added to.
Yeah.
It was like he was like a true joke sniper in that he didn't move, he didn't sway back and forth. He just stood there and delivered.
You were listening to my words, and that is it.
Yeah, it was
fucking
so good. Awesome. And so this is Deep Tanju's second win for the league this season.
Okay.
It's the first time we've ever seen him on RBL Weekly.
I mean, if I got to put money on anyway, it's.
You think he's a contender for Bay Area MVP?
I'd have to see more people, and I know there's a lot of guys I like, but I really like Deep. That was a good one. I have to see more battles, but hey, I like Deep.
And he has something different.
Yeah, it is
a different style.
It's very different.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I do too. I think that was a really great way to end the ep. Yeah. Great job, Deep Tanju, and
also his throwaway Trevor. Line to cut the momentum of Trevor when he said the joke about the Muslims in the New Delhi, when he was just like,
great, original or something.
He's like, how unique.
Oh yes, Chef's kiss.
Because by the way, I've seen people like, oh, how original, and it sometimes it works, but sometimes it just takes the leg out from under you because then it almost seems like you're being bitter.
Yep.
And you're like not like but when you're like, oh, how unique is such a funny like different way to say it, and it didn't come off as like dickish.
Yeah.
Because you were it is backhanded. You would be like, oh, how unique, and it's like, oh, that's such a good throwaway.
It was also the most cum jokes I've heard back to back to back that were all great. And I wasn't like, oh, fuck it. Like, normally I roll my eyes at cum jokes, but these were all just...
Usually I dot the eyes with cum jokes.
Yeah.
Anyways,
these were a cornucopia of cum jokes.
yeah, it was very good.
Yeah. Great job, Deep Tanju. Great job, Trevor. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in to RBL Weekly. Thank you, Frank Castillo.
Hey!
Where can people find you?
You can watch me on Peaked Podcast on YouTube, Masonic Smoker Podcast. You can find me on Instagram, Frank Castillo, and I'm always at the store.
All right. And you follow me at Sarah Keller07, and we'll be back with Pat Barker and the standings. Bye, everybody.